How's it going, everyone? It's Cloudchief, and it's that time of the month again. So let's jump into what the campaigns are and some of the stuff with the update. So, the campaign period's going to be Saturday, June 11th, all the way to Thursday, June 30th. The campaigns are the increased seal and crush drop rate, so, Beastman seals, kindred seals, all those. They will drop at an increased rate. Um, Additional seals spoil battlefields. So for kindred crests and high kindred crests, you get additional spoils from doing any of those BCNMs. Delve. So monsters will drop more air elixirs, and you will get double the amount of plasm. So if you're working on an Ergon weapon, fantastic time to start doing some delve. Surge walk, all the walks are surged, so they're all higher levels. So if you do get a item drop, it's guaranteed to be the +1 version. I think this is one of the best money makers. Period. Just make sure, since all the stuff is rare, that you don't have it on you. You either mail it to yourself or have it on the auction house, and you can just keep farming them, and I feel it's a fantastic way to make money. Voidwatch campaign, so all lights are at their maximum. So if you're working on a Empyrean weapon, this is fantastic time to get heavy metal plates, cinder or dross, since all your lights are capped. High tier battle, so doing high tier battles on higher difficulties have a higher chance of dropping items. Plus, you will get more personal drops of like the Betsu Riftborn boulders, and Plutons and the cases and boxes. So again, fantastic way to get them if you are upgrading an ultimate weapon and you need those items. To be fair though, those are only on the old high tier battles, so any of the newer high tier battles, I think you get personal drops on the higher ones, but it's not an increase on higher drops. I might be not accurate on that, but and yeah, I don't see any of the newer ones listed here, the newer high tier battles that have all the good items from it. So abjuration dial, so go into the goblin box and opening every day, there will be, well, actually you'll get an AB key, which is abjurations, and you can trade that into the goblin and they'll give you a random abjuration. Not as useful as it used to be, considering you can now buy all the useful abjurations with domain invasion points, but still getting free abjurations is nice, no reason not to, but sadly, more often than not, you're just throwing away because they're low tier abjurations. Dynamis Gauntlets, so as soon as you enter Dynamis, old school Dynamis, you already have all the TEs covered, and you'll have, you'll be able to proc immediately. Hyper Chocobo digging, so you can dig more frequently and you skill up more frequently if you're into Chocobo digging. Macrocosm orbs. Why did they not put the orbs together? So basically, using the orbs from the Sacred Kindred crests, you get increased drop rates. So yeah. And that's all the campaigns. So for me personally, since I am working on Mass Moon for my SAM, since I'm trying to level that up, I'll probably do a little bit of voidwatch, and then I'm going to need to be doing the high tier battles, because I'm going to need to get the Riftborn boulders, since that's going. And then, like I said, if I was trying to make some money, which I'll probably do a little bit of that, I'll go and do Walk of Echoes. I definitely think that is one of the best campaigns for making money, in my opinion, is how I've seen. Although typically you're not making instant money. You're best off because obviously people are farming stuff and then immediately putting it up on the auction house. I think you're better off just keep sending them to yourself, stockpile them, and then wait a month or two after the campaign's done, and then sell them, because that's when the items start to become a little more scarce and the price will go up. I think if you have patience for that, that's the best way to make a decent return on your time. So that's it for the campaigns. What else do we have? There was the Absolute Virtue campaign. So Oh, and this is going longer than I thought. So from Thursday, June 16th to July 10th, by going and defeating any of the notorious monsters that are, go towards AV, and plus also AV itself, you will go ahead and get these earned weapons. Oh, what is this? There's actually tier 2 weapons? Oh, so they actually added new weapons, but I mean, all they are, from looking at it, I mean, I'd have to look and see if the stats, and there's nothing listed here for stats, but they just look to be like more reddish rather than like mostly white. But basically, if you have C access and you've seen when you start fighting urns and they'll pull out a weapon, you can basically get those weapons. From my understanding, that they're level 1 damage weapons, so they're mostly for style lock purposes. Unless you're like doing something with like end spells on red mage, which is useful. But interesting. So there's tier 2 weapons now for them, but like I said, from what I see, I'd have to look into it, and if anyone knows, leave a comment on the difference. But yeah, they just look a lot more reddish. But the earned weapons are pretty cool, and I definitely like having, like I said, the daggers for doing red mage end spell stuff. Then there's also the Sunseeker campaign. So that's running from Monday, June 13th to June 27th. And I've never really done much with this. It's kind of just a summer event. Looks like the big thing to get is it's a club. I don't know what. Let me see if I can find out what this club, mallet, but it's a club. So if you want like a club with a mandragora on the end. Let's see if we can get stats. Yeah, and so it gives you a costume. So, I mean, just summer events. I've never been one much for the events because most of the time you don't get really good items, but that's just me personally. I can see people wanting to, do all the events and stuff. So that's running, and I think that's pretty much it. They did so 2 big adjustments that they made to the game in general. For domain invasion, they adjusted spike flail. I'm guessing they just made it easier. It kind of like, they only did it for domain invasion, so they didn't do it for other, worm fights. But it is kind of like, people should learn how spike flail works, so just making it easier for people. But it is annoying when you have people just want to stay on the tail of the worm, and then literally your trusts are just getting utterly demolished because of spike flail, because of other people, and they're not, following game mechanics. See, I'm kind of torn about making that change, because it's like, you should try and learn game mechanics just so that way you understand the game and you're going to be just a better player when you're following the mechanics. But that's just my personal preference. It will make it easier though when people are being silly and doing that. But and then they increased master level. It was 30. I think they increased it to 40. Does it say here? I'm not even sure. I've not even bothered doing any, I've done 1 master party so far, and that's really it, because I've been so busy doing other stuff. But yeah. You don't really get much out of master levels, except for really just more accuracy for whatever your top tier stats are. But, I mean, which is still nice. Getting more accuracy and attack out of your skill will, add up once you get enough points, but it doesn't seem as much of a level upgrade as like job points and stuff like that, from my opinion. If anyone actually has something, feel free to correct me on that if you're getting a lot more than that. I know you are also getting attribute upgrades from whatever you would get for the sub, but that's also going to be minuscule. I know they're supposed to eventually put master level up to 50, so which would actually be a total of 10 level increase on sub jobs. So eventually sub jobs are going to reach 59, but that's not here yet. And that's pretty much it for for the month of June for campaigns. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and may you guys have success in all you do.